Hi ladies, this is Miss Christie, and I'm going to remind you how to make your pillow, but this time we're going to put a little trim on it, okay? And you can decorate it up. So this time I'm going to make Erin a small pillow. Now I showed you how to tape the pieces of paper together to make a bigger pillow. Now we taped the pieces of paper and made a 14 by 14 shape. Well, this is how you measure without a pattern. Alright, so remember we called this side where it's woven together and kind of frayed, but you see it's double woven, so it's not going to fray any more past this area. But we don't want to include it in our pillow. That's called a selvage. Okay, now the top, you see this, and there's no selvage there. That's where it was washed and it's fraying a little bit. Alright, so what I did was there's a selvage here, but there's also a selvage on the other side. I've been using this a little bit. Okay, so there's two, but what I want to do when I'm making a pillow, I only want to pull it forward as much as I'm using. And so I would take this, I'd open it all the way up, and I only pull it forward as much as I wanted. Well, I wanted this to be about 10 inches. And see, that is about 10 inches right there. You see that? Alright, so how many sides, this is the question, remember, how many sides do you have for a pillow? Well, you have two sides, right? Alright, you have front and back, but you also have, when you're making a rectangle or square pillow, you're going to have a side that's one length, and then you'll have a side that's another length. And with our 14 by 14 pillow we made, it was 14 by 14. Okay? So now what we're going to do, I'm going to make a rectangle instead of a square. And so I wanted one side to be 10 inches. So I pulled it forward about 10 inches. But I don't want to include this selvage. So look what I'm going to do. See if I can get this straight so it won't fall. Maybe. I'm not sure it's going to let me. Let's see. Oh, there. I'll figure it out, y'all. Alright, so I'm going to measure from the side to right here, and I'm going to put a 10 because that's how long I wanted it. And then I'm going to measure right here and make that on a 10. Okay, and then I'm going to make this on a 10. Okay, so I've got like 3 marks, but that's not very good cutting like that. So I'm going to connect my dots. Y'all know connect the dots? Okay, so here's my connect the dots. Alright, so there's my line. See that line? And I only want to make it, okay, so that's 10 on this side. So I've got another side to do, okay? I want to make it in this little weird area right here. I'm going to cut that off so it's even. You can even up your fabric, especially after you wash it. Sometimes it gets kind of frayed and washes away a little bit. You can kind of use your scissors to even it up and to get rid of all that frayed stuff. Okay, don't matter if it's kind of wonky right there. We'll fix that in a little bit. Alright, so it's American Girl doll pillow, so it doesn't have to be very big. And so I decided on like 7 inches. So this way I measured 10. And perpendicular, remember that? We talked about that. This is perpendicular. We don't want it parallel. We don't want to keep going across. We want one side and then parallel. So there's one side. And now I'm going to do the other side. Okay. So here's 7. Here's 7. And here's 7. And then what do? Connect the dots. So just kind of take a look at it when you're doing this and realize you're going to have to make a rectangle. So figure out what other side you have to make to be able to make a rectangle. Does that look like a rectangle? Okay. So what I need to do now is cut her out. Use some better scissors. Alright. Now this blue pen is water soluble. So it will come out like when you wash it, or you just spray it out with, you know how you have an iron. Okay, now, I don't want this, we're going to sew the side. You don't want to have an edge that you don't sew. because then it'll look kind of rounded on one side and and then sewn on the others. Okay, now normally, you know, we leave a opening. Okay, let me pull up my camera right here, see if I can do that in front of me. Alright, so I need to go in, I want to go in about a 1/2 inch on my side. Alright, so I can take a measuring tape or one of those metal rulers that I showed you guys, and you can kind of guesstimate here, guess and estimate. There's my 1/2 inch right there. Once I get that, I can take this and draw a line. I won't go all the way to the end because you don't want to go off. You want to sew around it. And so you can check it with this and make sure you're 1/2 inch, and it is. You can check 1/2 inch here. Okay, now back down to one of the sides. I don't want to leave this bottom edge open so I can stuff it or turn it right side out, right? So I'm going to go a little bit here, a little bit here. Now, if you were putting in a pillow form, and the pillow forms are the big, white, fluffy pillows that you can buy that are just plain pillows, you would need to leave a bigger opening. But for this, you only have to get your hand in to stuff it. So I'm just going to make it a little bit bigger. So there's my opening right there. That's all I need to do. You don't want to have to make a corner, remember, because you don't want to have to, the sewing machine makes much better corners for us. Alright, so I'm going to take my pins because I don't want it to move. If you're ever dealing with minky dot or fleece or something like that, you want to pin it a lot more than this. This way, I'm just going to pin the corners. Okay. Alright. And then sew around it, turn it right side out and stuff it. And then we hand stitch this closed with a whip stitch. Okay. I think you remember doing that in class. Alright. But we're not making it like in class. We're going to take this off as the back piece and leave it to the side. Okay. That was right sides together. And we're going to take this and we're going to do something fun with it. Got some beautiful lace here. That's pretty lace. Okay. So I'm going to take that and I want to make like 3 rows of beautiful lace. Okay, a little bit longer. Or you could do something like this. You could even do like this way and one this way, and that's pretty. Okay. Or you could even do not cut, and you can sew this around. And as you're going around the corner, you just curve it around the corner. See that? Okay, let's just do it easy today. We're going to do 3 rows of pretty lace. Alright, now, this lace, okay, there's the front of it. Okay, you'll see that. Alright, we are going to stitch right in that top area. Okay, right in that top. You don't want to get down in the little pretty bottom there. So we're going to pin this on. Okay, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to probably pause this in a second and then restart it back up. So I can kind of fold this and finger press that. It'll give me a little crease there. So I know where the very center of it that is. Okay, so I'm going to lay that down. And I can pin that on like that. Now some of the lace is kind of wrinkled, but I can iron that out later. Pin it in. And if you have a good crease, you can iron it if you want to. That way you can find the center. Okay, so I have that pinned down. And I don't want to go way to the top, because if you go way to the top, make sure you have it on the right side too. If you go way to the top, then it might get caught up when you're sewing it together. So I'm just going to go a little, about 1.5 inches, 2 inches above that. And you can also measure it. So say that from the top of this one to the top of that, that's 1 inch. And then I can say from the top of that to the top of that, it's 1 inch. But you guys are beginners, so just put it on where it looks even. That's all I want you to do. And pin it on and then sew that on.